Throughout the years, different artists and music genres has carried on from generation to generation. It's apparent that we all love to listen to music, but the way we listen to music has changed. In today's age where music is extremely accessible, where your favorite song can be pulled up in seconds, where platforms like Spotify has transformed the way we listen to music. So, where does that leave physical media?
I'm Diego, I'm 21 years old, and I grew up in Tacoma, Washington. I think I grew up in a household that was pretty music-oriented. My dad has a huge CD collection, and so we have like a cabinet in his house that probably has like 2,000 CDs in it. When I was in high school, I would do a lot of driving like between my parents' houses, and so I just started collecting a lot of CDs because my car is so old that it didn't have like Bluetooth or like an aux connection really, so I had to use the CD player or listen to the radio. I think I understand why some people might say that it feels kind of like performative or inauthentic to be buying records, and like, you know, there are some people who buy records and they don't have a record player or what have you. And I don't really see it as an issue because you're still supporting the artist, and I feel like when you are buying like physical merchandise, it's generating them at least a little bit more revenue than just streaming their music does.
My name is Miranda Morris, and I am the General Manager here at KUSF.org. KUSF is the campus online radio station, and we operate 24/7. I am a child of the 70s, and I grew up in, really learning about music, and the format then was vinyl and radio and tapes. You would kind of just find music a little bit more, in your proximity. I grew up digging through all my parents' old Gladys Knight and the Pips and the Beatles, and also just radio was a really big source of music. And KUSF having a physical library, it's a really cool thing to have a space to house a library. So we have a CD library. Down here we have the vinyl library, and it's a very unique collection. A lot of times bands would only send 200 copies out to different radio stations as a promotional thing, and then maybe that album is out of print. So it's a really well-worn but a very well-loved library. We would look at album covers for hours. It really became like a part of the music itself. So it became like a marriage of like physical artwork meets the music, and it's just a different experience than on the internet. When I have noticed students are collecting vinyl, it's like an ephemeral object that becomes part of their life. I think sometimes people do just like to have a physical artifact that represents their love of whatever music it is, and it also just, I think, ties into supporting that artist. I was walking by a record store one day and they had a sign that said, "You can't resell an MP3." And I thought, that's an interesting way to look at it, because like I used to buy records all the time, and if I got like pretty broke and couldn't afford anything, I would take like the albums I didn't like that much and go to Amoeba and sell them.
My name is Mark. I'm a used product buyer and pricer at Amoeba Music. It's actually like kind of a place where people can come. It's kind of a community within the concept of the fact that it's a place. It's a place where people can just come and just be.
My name is Willow. I'm 16 and I'm from Vermont.
I'm Stone. I'm 18 and I'm from San Diego.
There used to be like a lot more kind of customers that are just coming in to just want to talk about music. And now it's all about how much is my stuff worth versus like actually what is on the LP. There's more of a kind of status about what kind of records you have in your collection, not necessarily that you like, but just that you have them. They're almost like, to some people, I'm not saying all people, but to some people they're like pieces of furniture. You like them, but you don't really love them.
It's like a nicer experience to just like sit down and kind of like listen to a record or like listen to an entire album, kind of like when I'm driving in my car. I'm drawn to both, but Spotify is also really convenient just to like have kind of like all the music I like and like less popular music that I like to be able to listen to that.
It depends on the mood, because I love like actually like sitting down and listening to physical media, but digital media is just so much easier accessible. Like if I'm like studying or anything like that, walking around, I'll listen to digital, yeah.
There are people that are actually discovering new music, or in a lot of cases, discovering old music that their parents used to listen to.
My parents would like play a lot of kind of older music, like they would play a lot of Simon and Garfunkel and the Beatles for me, but I really only started getting into like music when I was like in middle school, and I kind of discovered David Bowie, and that like opened up like a bunch of other music for me.
I have had a very like diverse music just my whole life. I've loved it. My parents have like completely different music tastes, so I grew up around like a lot of different music, and I've always loved like all of it.
The social media is kind of like taking over, telling folks what's cool and what's not. The important thing is to remember to create, to go ahead and get out there and make your vision, but just create. And hopefully there's enough folks that kind of like get out there and have a community of like-minded people that they support each other. And maybe that'll be like something that will be kicking against the technology. It's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. I have to be optimistic about it. But ultimately, it's in your guys' hands.